us solopreneurs have usually a lot of unrealistic expectations towards ourselves, and that's because the really visible things and people on the internet are, of course, people who are already successful and big companies. And we are neither when we are starting out. So, but we still try to keep ourselves to those standards. So let's do a little bit of walk and talk about that. I will be walking meanwhile outside, so you might hear some noises. Please ignore. It feels like as if you would be with me here. So, a really good example of this whole thing are websites. Usually companies with a huge background behind them already know, even when they launch, what they want to do or make or create. And so they hire an expensive website designer. They have their website design and they don't change that website and the wording on the website for ages. Actually, every now and then, when companies like newer or smaller, you can see that they have already changed a lot of things, but they have not touched their website. Anyway, us solopreneurs, we start out usually by having no clue about who is our niche, target, what we are thinking, what we are doing, how we are offering what we are offering, and what are we offering. So, yet we want to start with a polished and finished website that we don't have to touch for years. Wrong. That's just going to cost us, going into power tool zone, audio-wise. So this is a really good example of this whole phenomenon. We have this expectation towards ourselves that we should know what we're doing, who we're serving, how to talk with them, what we are offering, how we're offering them, for what prices we're offering them. And so we hire an expensive web designer and they create a website. And after a while, meaning weeks, maximum months, we will find ourselves changing what the web designer created, and the artistic fine-tunings start to break down. We create a new section, we add a few paragraphs, we change pictures, and then actually we would need a designer again to redesign this whole new setup. And that would be financially not so wise. And funnily enough, but I think this is a telling sign. This is one of my top selling offers, is to tweak people's websites, solopreneurs, service providing solopreneurs website, because their designer is either not possible to hire for a small task like that, or they lost touch with the designer, or whatever reason, or it would be too costly to do this every 2 months. That's something I offer, is I help them do small tweaks. I'm not a designer, but I have a good eye for design, so if there is already an existing design, I can make something that they added to the website as new paragraphs, new photos, new page, new section, whatever. I can make that fit into the existing design. But as I said, I couldn't have come up with or can't come up actually with a design from scratch that matches their personality and brand and whatever. And actually we are doing the same with basically everything. Website was just a really good example. So what we are doing is we try to, we see that even if we stay in the realm of solopreneurs and not go to the company scale, but we do that mistake all the time also. But so if we stick in the realm of solopreneurs and we see that, every successful solopreneur have courses and community and one-on-one and packages and books and whatever, and so we try to create all of those all at once. But what we don't know is those solopreneurs built those, we assume they built those bit by bit, but there's something else we don't see, the huge amount of financial background there, like the amount of money spent on marketing, designers, a team to maintain all of that, etc. And of course, a successful solopreneur's website might not change as frequently. So again, that's a really tricky comparison we make, that we think that they just came up with that copy and design and business model once and they just stick with it. No, that's been changing a lot. So we don't take into account all the efforts, we should be like them. We don't have those resources yet, or we don't want to have those resources at all ever, which can also be a case. If you don't want to manage people, then you either work on changing that point of view of yours, or you will not have a team, but then you have to simplify or spend more money on, automations maybe, or more advanced software that can do more of your daily tasks for you in an automated way. And since we are talking about more advanced software, this is also something that we usually try to copy. I know that a lot of, businesses use this or that software. What we don't realize is those are, for example, businesses with teams, departments. So we try to use and learn and use a software that is designed to be run by at least a few people, and at least a handful of people, for with different departments. And of course, sometimes we can learn only the essentials in there and use only the essentials and stay sane in the process and keep our money as well. But usually we just get lost. So basically, if we try to have an overview of the things I mentioned, basically what I mean is the shiny things you want to copy on the internet are run by or with a lot of resources. And us solopreneurs have to think differently, especially in the beginning. We have to think of, there are a few options too, few resources or few currencies that you operate with. One is, of course, money. How much money can you spend on it? You can you can start your, let's say, website again for $10 a month to run it on a server and have it online, or you can spend $2,000 right away in the first month and do the same for a couple of months while it's getting designed, and then run it on a platform that costs you $100 a month. That makes a difference. So you have to think about that. So money is one. The second one is our time. Do you have the time to learn and operate a certain set of tools? And it's not a problem if you do not. The problem is if you do not, but you are still trying. So if you do not, you just have to find the tools, minimize your tool set, minimize your needs and wants, minimize your model of operations, and yeah. So you can go either way, and either is fine. It's just you shouldn't be doing the opposite if you don't have those resources. The next is, are you willing to create a small team for you? Of course, it consists of, like, you have to spend money, but it's also based on, like, do you want to manage a team? Because if you really don't want to, as I mentioned, you can change your attitude about it. You can learn new skills to make it better. I heard this interview with Mark Silver was interviewing someone, Mark Silver from Heart of Business, about tiny teams, and I really loved the interview. They were talking about that usually we are, like, traumatized by bad teamwork and bad bosses, and so that's why we don't want to launch our own teams. That's why we don't want to have an assistant or delegate to someone. But then they talk about that you can overcome that, of course, and create a really functional team, and really you can be a really lovable boss. So that's the thing. And then also there is, by the way, I didn't mention, but, like, in time, I mean, are you running this as a side business? Do you have kids to take care of, or elderly, or partners to take care of? So yeah, maybe you don't have that the same amount of time as someone really successful you see out there has. So you need different tools, different mindset, and a different internal model of operation. So the next thing is sort of like an overall neurological likes, dislikes, possibilities and challenges that you have to take into account. For example, neurological, like, I mean, okay, maybe this one is separate, the learning part. Do you know how to operate these kind of tools that are just shiny, looks like everybody's using them out there, and you want to use them? Do you have the knowledge, the experience to run them? If not, are you willing to learn? Can you learn? Is learning a good fit for you? Do you enjoy learning? Do you enjoy learning for a long time? Or if it's frustration, like, can you take that frustration for a while, or that's just not good for you, and you will stop learning and using? So it's an important part. And then again, not again, but as a separate thing, if, like, you have to take into consideration, well, and now, like, proper neurological thing is, I mean, this was like learning, like you can have learning, I don't think disabilities are the good word for it. Sorry, I will look up a better word for them, but like dyslexia, dyscalculia, is that called like that in English? Like certain difficulties and challenges with doing math, reading, writing, comprehending written text, and then here I would add ADHD maybe, as like difficulty with focusing and sticking with the same thing for a long time. Because you have to take all of these into account. Or maybe ASD, maybe you don't like being around people or whatever. You have to avoid those tools, methods, marketing method, business method, day-to-day operation methods that is just not compatible with your system. And this is where it's really dangerous to assume that, oh, there is a good way out there. And this is why I don't, like, if someone's sure, you can make a lot of money and make a successful business with a lot of different methods, and I'm sure people who are advertising that, oh, they found the method, sure, it worked for them, but are you exactly like them or not? Because you will have to find your own specific set of tools, modalities, mindsets, models, business model, marketing model, workflows, what else? So, yeah. And so we are, as now you can see, we are usually thinking about this completely wrong and trying to see what worked for other people, and we forget about ourselves, and this is why we burn out, because we try to use things that are not a good match for our money, time, likes, dislikes, capabilities, abilities, skills, skill sets, or skill building skills. So yeah, that's it. That's my take on that. Think about it from a different perspective. Don't think about what's working. Think about what could work for you. And of course you have to tweak these, keep testing and seeing what works on the income part, not just on the sustainability part as well. But not sure where this comes from. I think I heard it from Ted Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies, that the best marketing is the marketing you actually do. So it doesn't matter how and what you do, you have to find something that you can keep doing, and you will only find something that you can keep doing, and that's true for the business part, not just marketing, that is a good fit for you. Again, for your budget, for your time, for your abilities, skills, likes, dislikes, etc. So that's it. I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope the wind was not too distracting. If you like the content, then wait for the car and then follow me on these channels you found this on. I have other content that you might find useful, and I will create mostly this kind of long form content. If this is a fit for you, you can listen to this while walking outside like I'm doing now, or sitting in the car, or whatever. If this is a good fit for you, subscribe and follow my content. And that's it. Thank you so much for your attention and have a lovely day.